Well, hello once again. I am Marvinetta Woodley Penn, the founder and executive director of Global Girls. For those of you who don't know what Global Girls is, we are a youth performing arts organization based on the south side of Chicago, but quickly expanding to cities and towns and neighborhoods all over the world. You say all over the world, Marvinetta? Seriously? That is the plan. I believe that young people everywhere should learn how to stand and deliver. That young people everywhere need to be able to look inside their hearts, not outside, for any kind of confirmation, for any kind of accolades, for any kind of identity, but they should be able to look inside to see who they really are, what resonates with their spirit, with their hearts, and then act on that. I want to equip young people with the tools to be happy, to be curious, to have grit, to have integrity, and to be kind. So, I have been doing a series since the first Monday in January, and we have been talking about love. Every show has been about the definition of love. How do we learn love? How do we teach our children about love? Last week we talked about the cost of love. Well, the cost of romantic love, because the cost of love, from my definition of love, is really nothing. You give what you get. And if you give love, then you will eventually get love. So without further ado, I'm going to show a video about kindness, because for Global Girls, April is Kindness Month. So we're going to start off and we're going to show this video. It's not very long, and then we're going to come back and talk about the video. So I hope you enjoy the video. I really think you will.
What I'm going to tell you will help you look better. What I'm going to tell you will help you feel better. Your anxiety levels are going to drop, your blood pressure reduce, your blood circulation increase, improving your vitality, and ultimately making you live longer. Imagine that. Anybody interested? Yeah. Show of hands. Everyone else is lying. Okay. Well, let me tell you how I came across this unexpectedly. My name is Mark Kelly. I'm married. I've got 2 kids. I run a business. I've got the same concerns as everybody else here. I'd love to be happier and healthier like everybody else here, I'm sure. On a cold and wet January morning, I was running to work and I came across a homeless man. The same homeless man, truth be told, that I walked by each time. And I don't know what it was, but I said to him, "Would you want anything?" He said, "Yeah, I do. Coffee, a milk, and 2 sugars." Grand. So I went in, and I got it from him, and I gave it to him. And I said, "My name is Mark, by the way." He said, "Lee, thanks for the coffee." Then I was off my way, running back to work. And later on that morning, I was feeling really good. Now, I wasn't sure if I was feeling really good because I gave somebody a coffee or because he was homeless. I'm not quite sure. But let me give you a little bit of background about me. I'm a guy who's always chasing self-help books, seminar, yoga class. I'm trying them all out. And this feeling made me feel better than any of them. So I started to Google. I was like, how can I make a difference, a small difference, to somebody that's homeless? So it turns out that money and perishable goods, they're actually not the way to go. But toothpaste, toothbrush, and socks are. So I said, grand. Went to Penny's in Blanchardstown and I got a tenner's worth. And I started to put them in these little plastic packs. And I put them in my bag and I said, if and when I come across anyone that needs them, coming and going from work, I'll give them a pack. So Monday evening I'm coming home, I'm cycling through the Liberties, and I came across somebody, got off my bike, went over, handed the pack, didn't look up, didn't acknowledge it. I was a bit disappointed, if I'm honest. So I got back on the bike, but hey, you know, whatever. I got back on the bike and I'm cycling down by Houston Station, and I came across a man just beside the bridge there. And he was wearing these socks, but they were toeless socks. The type of socks that you would have if you just come out of an operation. So I got off my bike, I took out my pack, and I handed it to him. He took out the black socks and he put them on. He looked up at me, and I could see I made a difference. So I got back on my bike, I put the kids to bed and made some dinner, and I was just feeling great. I was like, that small difference, it made a difference, and I was just feeling really good. So for the next couple of weeks, I just started to do act of kindness. I'd leave a door open just long enough for someone else to walk by, buy somebody a coffee. I'd be out with my trolley from out shopping, and instead of bringing it back to the trolley rank, I'd actually bring it over to someone's car, take the €2 off them, they can take the trolley, and then I'd do my way. One of my colleagues, John, said he caught me doing a nice deed, and he said to me, "That's really nice what you're doing." I said, "You know what? I'm not doing it for them, I'm actually doing it for me, because it's actually the most selfish thing you can do," and it made me feel really good. Word spread in my office as far as learning development, and they said, "Mark, I think we should share this, tell more people about it." So we did. So we did random acts of kindness for a week. It was kind of like Chris Kindle, but random. We had a jar, and we put everyone's name in it. And they took a name, and they do an act of kindness for somebody else in the job. So Connor at lunchtime got a sandwich on his desk. Dave, our sales manager, who spent most of his time out at sales meetings driving around Ireland, 2 colleagues surprised him and washed his car. One of our colleagues just started 2 days into her new job, had her bicycle stolen on Harcourt Street. As an office, we came together and we donated €4 each, and on the Friday, we presented her with a new bike. She couldn't believe that we would do this for her. She burst into tears crying. She now had a bicycle to go with that helmet that she'd been looking at all week. We were on a high because we just donated €4 and we could see the difference it makes. Now, at the start of this talk, I said to you, I'll make you look younger and I'll make you feel better. Anyone interested still? Yeah? Well, it turns out when you do a nice deed, the hormone oxytocin is released. That has a knock-on impact that drops your blood pressure, reduces your anxiety, gets the blood circulating so much so, it goes up to your cheeks. So they go all rosy red. So you look about 10 years younger, which improves your vitality, but statistically shows you're going to live longer. Now, I came across this completely unexpectedly, and I was thinking, I can make a difference here. So what I'm asking you today is do one act of kindness a day for you, but you just might help society around the world. Thank you.
Whoa, that was inspiring. That was so inspiring. And you know what? It goes with my topic of love. Because I think, and I've been saying for the last few weeks, that love is an action. Love is a verb. That the willingness to extend oneself for the growth of another is love for me. And I got that from the author Scott Peck in his book, The Road Less Traveled. A very, very simple definition of love, that we extend ourselves, that we don't do it grudgingly, that we don't do it out of anger, we don't do it out of retribution, but we do it simply because it feels like the right thing to do. And we know that it is the right thing to do, to extend ourselves. And extending yourself means that you have to go a little bit. You know, it might not come naturally. You might not feel like it in the moment. You might not feel like it that day, but you are interested in it, you want to do it, and so you extend yourself. It's like if you're trying to dust a ceiling fan, you might not be tall enough to reach it, and so you get one of those long-handled dusters, and so that becomes an extension of you. So you get some help to get them up there to do what you know that you need to do. So that extending yourself is that getting a little push from your values, from your integrity, from your love and your desire to love. It's the willingness to extend yourself for the growth, the spiritual growth of another. Whatever you think that spiritual growth might be, it can't be anything but good, because you're moving that person up the ladder of vibration. And if that person is coming from a point of love, and sometimes even if they're not coming from a point of love, you can still extend yourself because you want to be loved. And guess what? When you are doing acts of love, just like that act of kindness, those acts of kindness that the young man spoke about with that nice, heavy Irish accent, those acts of kindness were nothing but acts of love. Nothing but acts of love. When you're trying to make someone else's life better, those are acts of love. Those are ways of showing love. It can be love to a complete stranger, but you're doing a kind act. Oh, and it does feel good. You know, one of the things with drugs is that drugs tap into the chemical oxytocin, taps into the brain chemical oxytocin. Sugar does the same thing in food. Salt does the same thing in food. Fats do the same thing in food. Scientists know, and food advertisers, and no, food companies, and the food companies are the ones doing the advertising. They know how to trap us. They know how to appeal to all the senses to make us want to eat McDonald's when we know that we should not eat McDonald's, or to take that Snicker when we know we should not take that Snicker. But as soon as we take that Snicker or that McDonald's, oh my God, it sends a direct shot to the brain center where oxytocin lives, and it releases that oxytocin, and you feel a burst of energy, you feel a burst of euphoria. Same thing with drugs. But you can replace the foods, you can replace the drugs, you can replace all those things with love. Because if you're really loving, if you're really doing those things to make somebody else feel good, then you're going to feel good in the process. Just like the young man said, he asked somebody outside of the restaurant, what do you want? What can I do for you? And he gave him a cup of coffee. And he wound up feeling good the entire day, just by making somebody else's day. Imagine what our world would be like if we did random acts of kindness for people. Just once a day, just one random act of kindness a day. If you see somebody, you're in traffic, and you let somebody in, you let somebody cut in front of you, costs you nothing, nothing. My mother used to tell me, kindness costs nothing and gains everything. I'm sure you've heard the idiom, you can kill more flies with sugar than you can with salt, you know? So, put that sugar out there. You can catch more flies with sugar than you can with salt. So put that sugar out there. Let people do with it what they will, but you give love. You show acts of kindness. And Global Girls is kicking it off, you know? April, in our school programs, in all of our school programs, in all of our programs, not just our school programs, but in our partner programs, on our website, on everything, we are promoting April as Kindness Month, as Global Girls Kindness Month. And I ask you guys to please join this campaign. I know that this video is going to show during the month of April, and hopefully it will show before the end of April, so that you guys can get on board the love train, as the OJ said. People all over the world, join hands, join the love train. The love train. Ah, can you imagine? If everybody on the block did one act of kindness for a neighbor every day. If you've got 12 houses on the block, then you've got 12 days out of the month where somebody is feeling love from their neighbors. Wow. If somebody just went around and just picked up all the trash on the street for a random act of kindness, not only would the people on the block feel better, but people driving down the block are going to feel better because they're in a clean environment. That is love. That is love. So I'm asking everybody out there in TV land to please just show a random act of kindness. Tonight, I was supposed to have Nora Brooks Bailey on the show. Unfortunately, Blakely, Nora Brooks Blakely, she would really get me if she heard me call her name Bailey. Blakely is her name. And she is the daughter of Gwendolyn Brooks. I was all ready to show the video, the Zoom interview that we did, and for some reason I could not upload that video to YouTube so that I could show it. But don't worry, because that video will be on our website, which is www.globalgirlsinc.org. And if you forget, you can always call 773-493-2355. That is not even the number. It is 773-902-2359. Again, our official telephone number and correct telephone number is 773-902-2359. Or you can go to globalgirlsinc.org and you can see that video. I've got 2 shows left. 2 shows left, and next week I'm going to have on Floyd Webb, who is a noted filmmaker. He had film festivals in Chicago. He's always traveling around the world to be on panels and help people with their films. In fact, he did some film projects for Global Girls. So he's going to come on next week, and he's going to talk about love in media, especially black media. How is love depicted in the media? So that's going to be a very, very interesting conversation. And then for my last show, I've got something that we have called cheap chicken and wine conversations. Cheap chicken and wine conversations. So I get a group of ladies or a group of guys or just a group of people together, and we have a conversation on a given topic. Now, this topic that we're going to have for Sunday and then all day Monday, I will be editing this video so that it will be ready in time for me to show for my last show. But we're going to talk about dating over 50. Dating over 50. Because believe it or not, women and guys still enjoy dating, even though we might be a little older, might be a little long in the tooth, you know, all of that, but still enjoy companionship, still enjoy dating. So I'm going to have that interesting conversation with some women who are willing to come on the show and just have a discussion. I have no idea where that show is going to go, what twists and turns that discussion is going to take, but I guarantee you it will be lively. So if you are interested in joining a cheap chicken and wine conversation, even if you don't drink wine, we can always have apple cider. We will have apple cider there for you guys who do not care to imbibe. You can have apple cider. You just give us a call at 773-902-2359, or you can also email us, info@globalgirlsinc.org. But I do want to take a few minutes before I leave tonight to talk about Nora Brooks Blakely. She has written a wonderful book called Moenda, and it is available on her website. Brooks Publications, I think it is, but I don't want to get it wrong, so I'm asking that you please just contact me so that I can make sure that I'm getting this right. But she is the curator of her mother's entire canon of work. Everything from the poem We Real Cool to A Song for the Front Yard to the Bean Eaters trilogy to all of those wonderful works by Gwendolyn Brooks, the noted poet. She was the poet laureate for the state of Illinois for a while, and just a wonderful spirit, talented lady. As we celebrate Women's History Month, it is so wonderful to be able to celebrate, to look at the works of Gwendolyn Brooks. And so I am going to spend some of my time next week with that interview from Gwendolyn Brooks. I might have to cut my guest a little short just so I can show you a small clip, because the interview was so rich. It was so good. I had such a good time with Nora, and I just really want to show some of her video. But getting back to our topic for tonight, which is love. Showing love through acts of kindness. You know, we work with young people in Chicago Public Schools, and we're at one school where we are working with fifth graders. And I don't know how you were when you were 10, 11, 12, but that can be a very, very rough time, because you're going from being a child where you were very innocent, you know, you were mommy and daddy's sweetheart, and then your hormones start kicking in, your body starts changing, and your mind might not quite be ready to catch up with your body. Your pituitary gland starts sending out signals, so you don't really know what's going on. So we're working with these young people who are at that stage. It can be challenging, but when you show them love, and we have been giving them extra doses of love, because we understand first, we look into them as well as at them. You know, I got that from Stephen Covey, very deep thinker, very important thinker, and somebody that I think all of us could benefit from learning, reading. Even if we don't read the books, you can go to YouTube and you can get snippets from his book. You can get lessons from his book online, and they're so helpful for us leading and living better lives. So I always try to look inside of the children as well as looking at them. And when I look into their eyes, I can almost see into their hearts, and I can see the experiences that are impacting them in the moment. They might be laughing out, they might be talking about somebody, they might be acting out in all sorts of ways. But if I take the time to really look at them and really love them, I can see beyond that, and I can see the pain behind that. So I pulled a couple of young people aside today, not together, but individually. I just took time out to just go face to face, you know, up close. And I always ask them to look in my eyes. Look in my eyes, because I'm looking into your eyes. So I need you to see the sincerity behind my eyes. Because in this moment, I'm extending myself for your personal growth, for your spiritual growth. And I know you're not happy with being the class clown, even though you might be funny. And if you are naturally funny, I'm going to encourage you. Yeah, keep it going, keep it going. But when I see pain, and I ask you a few questions, I can ask 2 or 3 questions, and I get right to the source. And then I ask them to trust me. Trust me that I'm going to take you on a journey, but it's going to be a little painful, because life teaches you lessons until you get the lesson. And I'm here as a teacher to help you through that journey. You know, I asked one of the young people today, which teachers do you think you will remember? So I'm asking you out there in TV land, which teachers do you remember from when you were in school? Do you remember the ones who were easy, the ones that gave you an A when you knew you didn't earn an A? Do you remember those teachers who just came in and did absolutely nothing? The ones who said, oh, I got mine, now you get yours. Or do you remember those teachers that pushed you? Those teachers and coaches that were hard on you, that didn't let you give up, that said, no excuses, just results. Failure is not an option here. You are going to try. I see something in you, and I'm going to keep pushing you until you see it for yourself, until you prove to yourself that you are something. You are somebody. As Jesse Jackson says, I am somebody. We ask our children, do you know who you are? Do you know who you are? And they respond, yes, I know who I am. So I'm asking you, do you know who you are? And you say proudly, yes, I know who I am. I am whoever you are. And I know what's in my heart. I know what my skills and talents are, and if I don't know, I am on a journey to find them. I am curious, I have integrity, I have an imagination, and I am willing to be kind. I am willing to love, to be loved, to show love, to spread love throughout my community. I am willing to be a vessel of love because I think love is important in this world. If we had more people doing those random acts of kindness, if we had more people who were willing to extend themselves for the growth of another. I've been coming here religiously. I've missed a couple of Mondays, but because I had a few things that I had to do, but I sent videos anyway because I believe that once you make a commitment, that is your bond. Your word is your bond. So I do it because I'm very, very, very committed to spreading love in this world, to informing people about the power of love, that it's not just me, but it's a bunch of people out there who are operating from love and who are willing to first be loved. So during April, I challenge you, I ask you to get on this love train with Global Girls and just do some random acts of kindness. Very, very random acts of kindness. You might pick up the trash for somebody. You might open the door for somebody. Like the guy said, when you go to Aldi's or you go to the store, maybe you don't go to Aldi's. I go to Aldi's sometimes. And sometimes if I get a card, I'll just give it to somebody else and just ask them to pass it on without the quarter. I don't need a quarter back. So just pass that pass that card on to somebody else. Or somebody was in line a couple of weeks ago, they didn't have enough money. Hey, I got a couple of extra dollars, no problem, no problem. So, and it just makes you feel so good to do that for somebody else, Then the next thing you know, somebody's doing something for you. And so I just say thank you, and I leave this with you. When I was in Singapore in 2020 at the beginning of the pandemic, I think I got COVID when I was over there, but I survived because I'm here right now telling the story, of course. But one of my girlfriends said, she simply says, thank you, more please of the universe. Whenever something good happens, she just says, thank you, more please. And I ask you to say it. When somebody does something for you, you just tell the universe, thank you. More, please. When good things happen to you, just say, thank you. More, please. And what a wonderful world it's going to be. So until I see you again, I want you to just think about the random acts of kindness that you can do for your family, in your peer group, on your job, in your neighborhood. Wherever you go, just walking down the street, even if it's just giving, now that we can take our masks off in a lot of places, you can just give somebody a smile and you'd be surprised at the smiles you will get back. So until next time, spread love.